Another morning again inside Riyadh. Plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country Riyadh. Anyway, before I go to the wahala na Riyadh, I just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for it in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colores, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join me on Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube. Usai we go bring to una different guests them where they can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel for the people, the voice of the voiceless.
Another morning again inside Riyadh.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of a program called Colores on Riyadh. Now YouTube and on Facebook, so we can discuss issues them with the front page of the newspaper and they carry for the day. And we can bring in people that will come inside and help you for discuss the issues them based on the own opinion them or the way how they see them particular issue them day. Well, inside the program today, we look at the front page and bring you lots of issues that way actually don't happen last week, over the weekend, and even this morning. So we'll start with the very first paper inside the program this morning. We now the AZ newspaper, now the first paper we will start with inside the program this morning. And after we don't watch the paper them, we come with it, guess them inside. The first one we will look at, now the AZ newspaper, we say Niger political standoff. Sierra Leone will not go to war with Guinea. You as well get over setting up an embassy in Israel. Former APC MP applaud President Bill. In Pujon district, infant mortality rate on the decrease. And NCRA's DG addressed on commemoration of African CRV's Day. And Lipsin urged Sierra Leone to embark on open science policy roadmap. The next paper, now the EOS newspaper, we say Harvard Ministerial Program conducts in-depth study on GEWE Act. And you as well get as CEO Jamal Shalop of NetPage named in fake passport scandal. Citizens cry for justice. Mercury Shape appreciate Official Sierra Leone as Arise IIP sets to deliver hundreds of unemployed youths await to work. This is another story therefore inside this edition of the EOS newspaper. The next one where we get inside the program this morning, now the Future newspaper, we say maritime officials hide account book from auditor. And you get as immigration boss and others implicated, Django Sam and partners sue NetPage over fake biometric passport. Rado Soiree better than Chernobyl any day. As he arrives to stay in Sierra Leone, former U.S. Marine sets to upgrade private security firm. And as well, Sierra Leoneans must respect and give accolade to a hard-working man, Dr. Gilpin, unified staff of Ukel Commercial Bank. The next one inside the program, now the town crier, we say as immigration boss and others implicated, Django Sam and partners sue NetPage over fake biometric passport. New mandate for NCP. David Senge will transform government structure. As ICC requests to meet President Bill, Sierra Leone is high in world politics. Next one, now the Voice of Salon newspaper, we say 6 Kenneth staff in prison for fraud. And from January to date, government spent $13 million on energy subsidy. Cambia District Council Chief Administrator exonerated. And Vice President says government to give loan to people who invest in agriculture. Massive ship Ecsl are for sale. The primary news now the next one for this morning, we say judges preside over 802 cases. Sierra Leone pledge embassy in Jerusalem, and the FBC bid farewell to former director of Confucius Institute, and state-owned enterprise bill validated. The next one, now the Salon Compass, we say 7 days to release disaggregated results. The Right to Access Information Commission orders ECSL. Land grabbing. Land Minister undermines Bio government. Cambia CA exonerated. The next one inside the program this morning, now the Salon Times newspaper. We say a citizen complained of bloated government. Bio's secret appointment of chief of staff duplicates chief minister's role. And you get CMAT group wrap up public disclosure for Arise IIP's Queer Chiefdom project. Over 150 Sierra Leonean students get Chinese scholarship, and NCP get new SOE mandates. The next one now, Focus 24/7 as Right to Access Information Commission Act swiftly. ECSL in hot water. APC drops bombshell. Who is fooling who? The consequences of corruption on economic growth. Ask the US Chancellor Corner. The next paper inside the program, not the Calabash newspaper, we say Tamba S. Dowda's dual rule sparked debate over applicability of legal norms. Chief Justice appoints 23 judges to expedite 803 cases. The next issue, Nasimat Group wrap up public disclosure for Arise IIP's Queer Chiefdom project. Harvard Ministerial Program concludes case study on Sierra Leone's GEWA Act. The next paper where we get inside the program this morning, okay, now the Gleaner newspaper, we say land grabbing at Toke, private property turns government land. Standard Bank over request of lawyer Sembe Mara, rights to access information and commission gives 7 days ultimatum to ECSL. And you as well get this paper when at the public review where the chief minister meet with 40 decision makers to tackle drugs addiction. Bio ICC. June 24th election. Upper Sierra Leone unveils findings and recommendations. APC will not subdue to any plea from the ruling government, APC chairman says. IG meet with cybercrime expert team from USA. And see for the media and the next paper for this morning, we say President Bio's Titanic manifesto promises could be a pipe dream, cities say. And citizens urge government to declare Kush a pandemic. You as well get amidst current political climate and stance of donor, government displays insensitivity to citizens' plight. I'll take this one again. President Bio Titanic manifesto promises could be a pipe dream. Critics says. And the next paper inside the program, now the Times newspaper, we say lands minister implicated in land grabbing scam. And you as well get magistrate issue bench warrant for Sky Travel Agency. The next paper, now the Independent Observer newspaper, we say 203 school heads to retire next month. Employment, Labor and Social Security Minister assesses workers' welfare at National Stadium. The next one, now the open space. We say Chief Minister vexed over drug abuse. Global mastership set to work with Ecsl. Over working condition concerns, Employment Minister start on sound footing. Without NIN, no passport, work or resident permit. The next one at the Dawn newspaper, we say Lands Ministry deprives private owner at Turkey. And following lawyer Mara's request, RAIC may compel Ecsl to release elections results. Ineligibility of professional aid to serve as director of survey and lands. The next one, now the Kailundo newspaper, we say, is Valentine Strasser dead or alive? Chief Justice assigned 23 judges to complete 802 cases in 2 weeks. Letter to the president. Africa 24, now the next paper for this morning, we say Bill's new comrades, tough time ahead. Chief Minister's office exposed, Flexi Group is illegal, Bank of Sierra Leone. Journalists no longer have respect in Bill's government. The next one, now the Forum newspaper, we say collective responsibility threatens leaders. Fear factors, political, public admin, minister calls for teamwork, and Bank of Sierra Leone wants citizen. Well, now all of the people in this, we will get inside the program this morning. We will take a very short break and come inside later with we guest them.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for it in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join me on Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube. Usai we go bring to una different guests them where they can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel for the people, the voice of the voiceless.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check me.
Alright. Welcome back. You still watch Colores right on we had on YouTube and on Facebook. Also we discuss issue them with the front page of the newspaper, then the carry for the morning. And after which we can bring people inside where they come and join me. We actually get one. We don't join me inside the program this morning, and we expect another one. We will join me just not inside the program. Well, the first one we don't get now Sarah Jane Owolins Kamara Honorable. We day with we inside the program, right? Now we don't appear one time inside the program, and today now the second time we actually they appear for we discuss issues them we get for doing the content development and the story, especially with the newspaper they don't carry. And after which we expect to get another person when David Johnson we go join me inside the program later for let we discuss the different issues them with the newspaper then they carry. But before as we wait, we will still go on and start the discussion. Maybe we start with this first paper. We then at the screen already. We at the Kailondo newspaper. And Mr. Honorable, welcome to the program this morning. Honorable, good morning and welcome again to the program.
Thank you again. Thank you very much, and viewers as well. Yeah.
All right. So we'll start.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning.
The line, they waste time. The slow.
Did you get me?
Yes, I get you. You did get me, Honorable? Okay, so for one thing I go and follow you do because the line look this slow, I go and follow you leave and come inside back.
Okay.
All right, you still watch. Please, if you join me, not forget for like and share the program. So we will actually get with exactly what we want at the end of the day. And you will not subscribe yet, please consider for subscribe to this particular platform. Okay, thank you very much.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wala now we had, I just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for it in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join me on Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube. Usai we go bring to una different guests them where they can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel for the people, the voice of the voiceless.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wala now we had, I just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for it in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep.
All right, we don't come back. I'm very sorry for that break, but we will continue whilst we wait for other guests for coming inside. And like I said, we get Honorable Siraji Holit Kamara. We don't join me inside the program. And we'll start with the very first paper as a way for keep the conversation started. Let me start with this one, Honorable. This paper we will see from the Kailondo newspaper say, is Valentine Strasser dead or alive? You get any idea of that?
Not at all. Not at all, my brother. I partner to yourself, I do again, so.
Okay. So this particular question, it gets anything with the same that you mind right now?
Well, if at all, let's say dead or alive, let's say let's say dead, we will begin to say, it not could come as a surprise. Let me tell you this. Strasser had gone through some difficult times in his lifetime after being dethroned by President Bio. during the NPRC, go to exile. He was mocked in the UK, came back and been there for dinner, get to there na Newton, that area there, call and grafting area, you know. And then later on, we understand say they cut him foot, but then rehabilitate and give him a house. And just for things say he cannot have that in life where maybe you don't use of late, even though you didn't host now. Maybe psychologically, emotionally, you don't be affected or whatever. And knowing say if you don't be present at the country before, almost like 4 years, and now you can't get for live on handouts, you know, in mental health not go good. And sometimes not to just physical illness, but a mental or psychological illness will affect them. Like people say, take to mind, and Creole can say feel bad, and maybe that could be a reason if he die. That could be one thing, you know. Life is not also good for him, considering say in second in command now, is the president traveling and living everything. People, it's natural for human being, you know. And also death now gets not the peak for say, okay, now you get for go up to 70, 80. I buried 3 of my brothers in 9 months. 3 brothers, 1 papa, 1 cousin, you know, all in 9 months, for all together 4, and they are much younger than me. So if he die, that could be. But if he did alive back then, we should be happy anyway. Yeah, like yesterday, let me tell you, I can play ball every Sunday. We go play ball, and one friend, we don't play ball, we sit down, they make joke. Believe me, that guy just called me siege. As I return, so the guy did drop now ground. You know, pap now in left and temple, now for those now go, people stay. And we through WhatsApp now, one pastor get church near the field, so they play, you can't pray for him. He didn't even know all of that. So if you not believe the like anything happen in your host, now die for don't die. So those things are happening, and people not too surprised that not say die inevitable or death inevitable. So and that's why we live for make we expect we'll get for die anytime soon. Yeah, so I will not be happy if he die now, but if he die back then, so maybe destiny say.
Okay, so let me take this other paper quickly because you know we're time for putting them in place. We actually don't get we other guests we don't join me inside the program. This morning I hope they get me. David, did you get me?
I get you.
All right. Good morning and welcome.
How the morning, brother?
Okay, so let ask you the same question again. The issue of Captain Valente Strasser, the paper of Kylondo, they ask whether he is alive or he don't die. As a journalist, anything the way you know?
Actually, that is a question where they ask about they don't say where we know the area from Strasser. So maybe now a question where the newspaper asks for a demand and answer for let the people, the Strasser or any of his family members will come out and explain whether he's alive or he's dead. So that's not a question. So for me, I no go because I not get any clue whether he's alive or he's dead. So I no go say anything about that.
Okay. So
yes. Waiting maybe know a be day in a serious health critical condition, but we don't they grappling with treatment for a very long time. So I believe I don't know but about but waiting me know it be the attempt to treatment. So that is all. I don't get any clue whether if they in a critical situation where it will lead to death or not. But waiting the people need for know whether he's alive, because previously we be say the president be take and go for treatment, and that treatment day when he come still the man not be okay. So now that's the people need for know. And that's the people of Sierra Leone need for know, because the man has been silenced for so long.
Okay, so let's take on to this other issue we get for do with the free quality education. And this paper when the Independent Observer say next month, 203 school heads when they can say head teachers them they retire. Waiting on a makeup of this and whose impact we will get on the educational system.
Come again?
203 school heads them for retire next month. Yes, Siraji, what do you think? What do you think?
Of course, I'm fortunate for serve the board of governors for the Freetown Secondary School for Girls, and even the principal of the senior secondary school. Today, the 28th, I think 2 days more or 3 days, he retire, and so she could be among the 203. The retire would, of course, everybody we know say we know what we condition of service call for. That at 60 they retire, and but we also think say some situation don't warrant for say when a successor is not easily identified, and then can ask for give the person the substantive principal or head for act for a period. And but of course, when you talk about quality, these are things all in the work before time say there should be an agenda for succession. Any leader we know say he left, then at the eve of in time or he left, he never get a successor, not a good leader. Because as you lead, that's where they prepare for Uda for able to take over, where they pass the baton to, So coming back to the general word of quality, minus these people retiring, of course, we know so we get a huge teaching force. But the sad part of it that some people they don't have PIN codes, and as I say, I'm not just guessing, but I'm part of the system to know all of this. We have some teachers at the FSSG who do not have PIN codes, and the subsidy when they send, they give them. The danger in all of this. Imagine then they pay teacher 1.3, 1.5 or so. Then the one we not get PIN code and just the game from the comps, when are like 250 per month. You not even do for in transport. The danger in that such teachers may want to begin to such a thing that we go make the extort funds from for assignments for marks or what have you that could say money for grades, then. So when we say we think about quality, let it be quality in complete sense. For me, I was thinking that when President Bio came up with the free quality education, I was in Parliament. I debated to it, and I think I contributed greatly to it, because I always say President Nkrumah came with the free healthcare. It is sustainable up to date, which is good. So we need to give support to the free quality education. But I think they got it wrong. You cannot start from where they did. For say no pay fees, the supply books is huge. But we also think say because you don't have enough infrastructure, better classroom than all day, we get for begin can cramp the picking them. We will be in a good school. The ratio, the classroom intake now 48. The school register itself was 50, but most schools then they get 48, 45, and I think say the teacher people ratio now that you call for. But I'll tell you today, all government schools or government assisted schools, they will tell you the minimum pupils we then get per class now 60, and so the teacher self will tell you say they lost track in teaching. Some people will do their own under because the class huge. Some could have up to 70. So moving forward, those who that when they retire, I believe say not to that's very important because they are always successors. But let the government think now, like schools like FSSG, Model, Rokel, and the other one then get spaces. Then do some extra building, classrooms, furniture. Make them get them in superabundance, Some students still there.
You just talk about the way how picking and they full up, how they choke in the classroom them. I attend school, yes. I think I'm not sure if I ever sit on a class way past 51 day, But now this government's been prioritized the issue of one shift system, but up to this time, second time in office, they're not able to go to that system yet, even attempt for doing it.
I'll tell you, going to one shift, then they practically I can be critical of the government, but not to the government or the ministry. Then can delay. now the school administration.
So why you say the school administration?
Well, that's what I'm telling you, because we grapple with that now FSSG until the board decide for pull the bull by the horn. When you say go to one shift, meaning that you have the junior secondary, the senior secondary school all coming to one shift, meaning that the space where they then just get for shift equally. But when you can get two shifts, the GSS kind of morning, they can get even extra classes, classroom them, way for B to the senior, but they can get them for themselves, and get more picking them. Similar, same one back to the senior secondary school. So, and the more people you get, now the more subsidy you get. So they will always want more picking them for them at school, for me then get enough subsidy. So now I make I say, the cramp, when you talk about one shift, government for able to provide enough classrooms so that we not go cramp as we are. And also
you begin with the school administration and you end again to the government. We mean say the bulk of the responsibility is still in at the government.
Yeah, we not begin telling them for so they pick on the government. Okay, but what I'm saying, let me go to that again. Let it be understood well. Government for made them for achieve I call them in a
system.
Yes, therefore don't think say the free quality education and for don't address first the issue of infrastructure. That's what I said.
Yes.
Maybe the first 1 year, and for just say, okay, would they add more classroom to school STEM?
Correct.
The second year, then go say, well, would they think of raising the salaries of teachers? Then the third year, and I begin to say, let Pikin and not pay because they provide books, all that thing. Then that's it. But now, why I say I blame the administration, I don't tell you that.
Yes, I get that.
The more picking that you get, now the more subsidy you get.
Yes, I get that. Now, wait till I adjust the ask. I get all the point. I just that we start with the administration and can end to the government, which is just the reality. Okay, now go over to David Johnson. David, what do you take on this issue? 203 school heads them they retire next month.
Waiting get for establish whether them people if they don't reach the retirement threshold. So if they don't reach, then definitely they need to retire. So we look at this is a very the free quality education and the government in flagship program that is on for the past 5 years. And I know say this the free quality education form part of the government in priority for this year. So if 200 plus teachers then they retire, the government for ensure that the free quality education move and for ensure that the free quality education thrive, then therefore ensure say that they employ or they bring in qualified teachers then. Qualified teachers then in the sense teachers them where go will give the proper knowledge to the kingdom na school. We don't need teachers that way not reach where not get the required knowledge for pass on to the kingdom. If they not get the required knowledge, then automatically what should they expect? Would they expect for massive failure like how it happen? And we need to see much performance and great performance in the government school. Look at what happened in the past public exams. The government schools they not try. Now the private schools them. So for the government, the flagship program where then they go where then they talk about the free quality education. And therefore bringing qualified teachers them, experienced teachers them. For let the schools themselves where they make the name. But you know go say this not a free quality education, then we need to see government schools and they make that kind of great performance compared to private schools then. Look at what happened. So now that's I use this opportunity for call on the government. Let them bring in qualified teachers them and try for motivate and improve the conditions of service of teachers them. Because by that, you will bring in more players in the field. But if you not improve the condition of service, then while the condition of service remains the same, then how you expect for the free quality education to thrive? And the drivers of free quality education are the teachers. So the government therefore pay more concentration on that. for improve the conditions of service. And when you improve conditions of service, you attract others to come in the teaching field. But if there is poor condition of service, how you go attract people way get passion for teaching, for come into the teaching field. So government need for do more, and therefore concentrate on that aspect today.
Okay, so let we move a bit from that, and let me go
before we move a bit, I think David brought a good point where I just want to add 1 minute into it. And yes, and definitely, because what I don't follow up of late, people come to the teaching field for can't wait, now a waiting ground for greener pasture. And because, as you said, the motivation, no, let governments, I was with Saki last week, the new minister, and he has been at the TSC, Teaching Service Commission, as head. I think you understand all of this. Now, for make, if possible, let this this discussion reach him. And you say, one thing we feel say, if you want for succeed, and one for make sure say the government in flagship program be as it was intended. Make you follow waiting. David just talked now. Let teachers then be gainfully be employed. Now then the ministry they forgive award to the best teacher of the year. They don't do ammunition when I think they the final analysis for quick the person. But I'll tell you there are people who think say they want to teach, but like when they know they give them pin code. Imagine what go be. If they did in a class, now make you say, but could be in the picking in the field. Imagine if you know, say, you get for going to house, you don't even get transport. When they call for can't teach, you don't get for going to class, you go say, you go do something. And when you know get and pin code, now voluntary teacher. So as you say, let the ministry make sure say the real teaching workforce, the teacher people ratio be achieved and they gainfully employed in the sense that then they go look at people who work in public service. Somebody get bachelor degree, they work in a Ministry of Finance, and they pay 35 million. You know, then the one way they teach in a classroom, they pay 1.3 million. For look at the example in Germany, where the German chancellor, he say the teachers are the people who really teach doctor there, then teach professor there or whatever. So therefore, they require for be paid higher. So we have to take this in. No, can make them like a lip service, you know. And as you say, as the best thing, now the first and best thing now for make them make the teacher, they look very, very, very comfortable.
I think it's very, very important because we don't see several things. Even cameraman and state house in salary more than
the teachers.
Yes, in more than the senior head, well, let's say the head principal or head teacher in any school, you know. So this all, and if you watch on the qualification between the two, the teacher gets more qualification person, but such is how the government they operate. Okay, take on again to this other issue. Let me see this paper where now focus 24/7 as the Right to Access Information Act swiftly. ECSL in hot water, waiting and they mean. We go to the other paper where SF carry the same thing, Salon Compass say. 7 days to release disaggregated results. Right to access information orders ECSL. In other words, they don't order the ECSL for lay, they act quick one for give the disaggregated result where people they ask for all this while. So waiting on a makeup of this action of the right to access information. You think ECSL will respect this? Because before the elections of ECSL they challenge. Everybody say, first of all, they don't allow anybody for an auditing system. And after that, when they begin ask for the disaggregated result, then come out again and say, no law not give them the right for do so. But now, we don't see this young man don't use his own sense for say, no, law day where they ask any institution in the country for give any information. So you think, say, ECSL will respect the orders of the right to access information? I'll start with you, David. Wait, David. Wait. Let's start with the lawmaker first, because now they be David for pardon things there.
Start with David. I must start with David. I'm comfortable.
No. I want for your view before we go to the journalist. We go analyze all things.
One thing I know that the 2012 Elections Act gets a very good provision for such things, but what's happening where they amend them 2022, where they give so much powers to the commissioner, the chief electoral commissioner, to a point that I not been in parliament again. But Channel African Express was calling attention, because the ruling government will always be comfortable when laws are passed in their favor. So he was calling the APC MP them, say, when I watch with the APC MP them, say, may no collaborate or corroborate with waiting they go on. He say the elections act when they are meant, so he say it's not good for country. To a point that we started pointing fingers and asking questions, and one APC MP, even brand Cherno, African Express Cherno say, in a power panist, like they talk for the SFP. But that was not good, because he talks something against we, we begin to think say he's not the right person. But I think in a day, the mistake begin happen, or the crook begin happen. Moving forward, there are two institutions. Okay, the Supreme Court is mandated, and I didn't get right for even ask the Electoral Commission say, I not care what you say, what you call, we the interpret and say, what you are talking at Parliament, in a whole for the good of country. So go ask una for una release the results. But the APC not going to Supreme Court. Now, Senge, a person, a lawyer, a young man who I get massive respect for. Now, Manuel, they tell you, I not say you not get bottle, but he asked for. There are a few of them where I can put on that listing. So now I don't go to right to access information, Raic. And Raic not get any alternative. That's a law where they say they have to. When you go ask for information, then for able give you. So now it behoves ECSL for make them respond to Raic and submit waiting they ask for. They not get alternatives. When it comes to the mandate of the right to access information, ECSL not get any escape route but to comply. And I think that's the route where Senge tells you how accurate and intelligent he is. They shoot Fiti Fata. You don't even hear him that much. So I stand with him on this, and I think say ECSL will not have to respond. But as you say, are they going to respond? Because I remember even before going to Parliament, was in Parliament and after, would they make laws? Would they enact laws every day? But you ask yourself, are these laws implemented? The only laws I don't see implemented effectively, now the laws them, the traffic rules or what have you, then get to wording them. Because this is what they tell and say now where una find people and I don't una salary they come out. Una say they look aggressive in implementing those. Then Sabi and they all get the act with them. Then they work out with an boss system. But other side them, now see they make laws, look at the dots in the city, all that's in them, and going to work. Nobody they comply to that, So for me, I think Augustine did a very good job. The question is ECSL going to comply? And if you're not comply, we say they can go back, So now I make a talk say to make laws now one thing, for respect the laws, because you think say even the very law, like we talk say like child abuse, sexual penetration, this and that. When something like that happen, then begin to talk say, them call minister. Then call member of parliament, that man did that case, if you have a mass sambo, let this case not come. You make the law say anybody do this, then deal with them. Now you call back. So now make a talk to sometimes in a fantasy, I'm not fancy when they make their laws also because get any effect follow up, So this could be another one. But I stand with Augustine to ask.
So this is a test case for the right to access information.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It is for them. And I wonder, I know say the young man with the Sega Shaw, he's been a journalist for years, get Expo Times and the rest of it. But you see, this is the problem back when we have, maybe one day we'll get for can talk on a very important thing. I will show you what I have there, if you can see me. I have this book this year, so it is here well, Mm-hmm. Yes, this review. Now this Justice Kawan and Tim Bindu. We have to go back to this because the powers of the president, we can reduce them. Especially when you call them Supreme Executive Authority, and this document say let them call them Chief Executive Officer. When the president has to appoint everybody, You know, if they bring that man who say, hey, that person as commissioner, now big job, right to access information commission, you know, now big job. If you can't begin the not down to the chin of the president, knowing with politics now, you know, and then go sack you. And I make Augustine then put on at the board. I think the board of maritime he was. Now man was at the talk to him. You know, he stood a position, then pull on it. You know, because of that. So for people who know what they saw, then will say, I mean, they can begin to go against the president. And naturally, it is not so, because not just might have been in government, but successive government have always danced to the tune of the president. So right to access information and go ask. If we're not give, so then go end them. So for me, I would say, like, when I right to access information, we get for me journalists, would get some seasoned journalists who will be known there and slash the other people, and they now then go begin things say, let's elect or appoint people to Raic, you know, for serve the country. But once that the president they appoint them, forget it. We cannot get the desired result or the expected result from our own side.
So, and David, taking into consideration the thing where Augustine they ask, you know, right to access information for ask ECSL. Now, a very sensitive thing we get for do with the presidency. And you look at all of them position there. So now the president appoints them. You feel say, or you not feel say politics go interfere into this, and then they just mass them, and just like that. And waiting this, if that be the case, waiting this will just mean for rights to access information.
I know I make a conclusion on that.
Yes.
Because Augustine Sengemara is a seasoned lawyer. Now a lawyer we get a legal standing, we get experience. You see the route we use where people and they expect, because quite aware say the Public Election Act give more power to the Electoral Commission. So that is why he used the right to access to information law for requests to the ECSL for let them release the results by polling stations, which is right. And that route the way it take, I believe, say Augustine Sengemara again forgets the desired results where he wants from him. Because a next line of action, I know saying a court. If they renege for produce or provide the result, then the next action will be a court action. But let us look at this. The courts therefore take decisions in favor of NEC, ECSL, or that is a question for another day. So we therefore left where that reach, then when we reach the bridge, then maybe we cross that bridge there. But as it is now, Augustine Sengemara then at the throat of ECSL. Then at the throat of ECSL, and ECSL not get no way past them get for comply.
And now 7 days now, right to access information don't give ECSL for release the results here.
Yeah, they don't give them 7 days. They don't give them 7 days ultimatum. But let us look at if the 7 days is a genuine demands or request or not. So
tell me, what do you mean if not genuine request or what?
Because you look at ECSL, the right to access to information commissioner has been appointed by the president, and you cannot bite the fingers that fits you.
Exactly.
So you see, you will look at this whether if it just do for
you say we know want and make FT decision or conclusion. Now that you don't reach the back. I like the point.
Now that's how what you make as say no make the ST conclusion in the sense where at the type of say now the court.
Yeah, okay.
Whether the court therefore take a decision in favor of, because I believe say the next line of action of Augustine Sengemara after ECSL don't refuse for release the result, the next line of action is they use the law and file a case in court. So whether the courts therefore take a decision in favor of Augustine Mara or that of ECSL, that is a question for another day.
So, but again, the court, even if the court not take decision, the court can, we don't see several times, then you always stay people and get tired. But you
that
think
is the way how they do for denying somebody justice.
And they will only take next action if the court come to conclusion and pass judgment. But if they not pass judgment, they're not going to take any other action. Because let's say the court pass judgment now and they're not satisfied with the action of the judgment of the court, then get another right for go to the appeals court. So if even they lost there again, then get another step when at the ECOWAS court.
Well, meaning the court maybe is and therefore drag them feet, as you say, and therefore drag them feet for call up on the matter. So now that we get, now that I say, let we wait, let we see. Waiting therefore be the next line of action of Augustine.
Because we know we don't for talk about the court if we not make mention as in a one example now the issue of the Auditor General and in deputy. We turn out in a court, no better thing they come out. In fact, the court they ask the Auditor General for make their own submission first instead of the one that we go lay complain. So how this could be different?
I say we'll reach the bridge, we'll go cross there. So I'm not going to make conclusion on that particular aspect. But I know the particular individual where they deal with that issue there. Now, individual will get respect, now individual will get integrity, and an individual will ready for die for democracy in this country. And I believe say in push where they don't begin push show, where they don't begin use the law for squeeze ECSL. I don't say it will continue in that direction until they achieve what they will achieve from that.
I think this is an upper court they give them because I'm not sure anybody, even the lawyers themselves, nobody expects they use this.
Actually, the man is so crafty. Augustine Mara is a crafty lawyer. So he look at the law, he don't look at the law, he don't study all the provisions in the Public Election Act. Then he look at another law where give the mandate of ECSL for release information to the public. And where even we as a journalist, even we use them. So it quotes the relevant provisions and asks ECSL for release the results. But they not release them. So a petition, a right to ask access to information commission, and I believe say access to information commission now, so they use their own power and for ask ECSL. But let us watch, let us wait if ECSL therefore comply, because that's not the issue now. The issue is the compliance. If ECSL therefore comply to that, then if ECSL not comply, then I know say Augustine Mara for take a drastic action for get justice on that particular aspect of the law.
Honorable Stirajin, let me look at this particular refusal or acceptance. Who say you feel say we go end?
Before that, let me just maybe make a slight correction to David. We say Augustine is crafty. He's not crafty. He's sincere and thorough. Somebody who is sincere and thorough, he did know the path to work. Then says most likely in the Ben cases. But Augustine, Basita, they've all proven to us that they worth their salt, because we had lawmakers that were compromised for some reason, and then put sweep and this year suit today. And we don't get precedents of such matters about court delaying matters, or even giving ruling. We're not worth it. Before my own case for removing a parliament about case of violence, and I was going to ask if violence now election affects me. Why not affect the council, not affect the mayor, not affect the president? Now the MP no more you affect, and then courts go back and say, instead for me then get a rerun, court order say I should be replaced. Before the passing ruling, the possibility for replacement don't take put in a parliament. You see those trends. But again, we go back to a bigger picture of removing an elected vice president. We go to the court, the Supreme Court talks, no, waiting the president do it right, then go ECOWAS, it be different thing. Naimekaki always say, when do they make laws? Let the laws be uniform for everybody and for generations yet unborn. When we tailor with laws or interpret laws na court for suit or satisfy one person or set of people, it is wrong for country, and God to detest that. Because in fact, this theory, God is the first judge. Isaiah 33:22 tell me that God is a lawmaker, he's a king, he's a judge. And the one that the oath when they take say, then they deliver justice, then they can pervert justice, Is a shame to our country. But the other thing back, the international partners, we can condemn they condemn executive arm, and then they give support to judiciary. Remember the JSDP, Justice Sector Development Program. But we still not see changes. You know, how do you continue to do this? You pay people hefty salaries, and they still provide justice. You know, so to me, and David wants to be a little bit as a journalist for day on the fence. You know, you say we'll reach the bridge to cross. Some bridges are crossed before you reach there. I will tell you, because of waiting, I don't then two incidents the way I don't name, the VP Mion case and others. I will tell you that the expected outcome that the Supreme Court not will do anything different from what it says and don't say, and it is not good for country. So moving forward, I would think the judiciary needs to be reformed as well. Not get people we know to president they appointed. You know, as I tell you, I not hate the presidency. I not hate the president, but maybe I hate the powers, unlimited power they give to the presidency. And we had an opportunity 2016 to remove such powers, but we not do. And today, Mr. Sefabi President Bill, I know go countenance this one. This one tell me last year in office, I say may they do the amendment because myself want to enjoy that party. But we have to make laws.
Okay.
Wait until we get grandpa no bonus set. They no come and go come and see now good laws we make. You know, so my expectation, I will not see anything different. Only that I will stand with Augustine Mara for say he's a lawyer of good standing and he's thorough and he's intelligent and sincere. And so as a result, he will not be disappointed. But he just took the right path for say, if I go and make this the path to be, so he just expose the system further. By the end of the day, then you come back to square one.
All right. So let's take on again. Maybe we can come to the end of the program now. But this other issue is very much important because it gets to do with the reputation of the country. This being term, they don't grade we passport as one of the most trusted passports. But now we don't see from the highest inside the office itself, they don't talk about written and called fake passports. Let me see what in this paper say. This paper where na town crier say as immigration boss and others implicated, Django, Sam and partners sue NetPage over fake biometric passports. And let me see this other paper again. The future again get the same thing. We they tell me about the NetPage fake passports and where they produce. And this other one again, you know, a lot of people them carry this issue. So we still not make up of this particular, you know, big word we don't begin come as to we passport in fake or reality or genuine printing.
Actually, we don't know the angle where the paper they come up from, where they describe the passport as fake. So if I don't get a clue or privy to that particular angle, then I don't make my opinion concerning that. Okay. Because if the government will award the contract to NetPage, they're satisfied with waiting the goal, then if they not question the passport, then I feel say then already satisfied. So if other people them way they question the passport whether the passport is fake or not, I feel say they get their own angle, they get their own different angle. You know, journalists get in different angle like they look at issues.
Well, this not just the journalist way, right? But this not a legal issue now. Then they quote, then they talk about say that they sue NetPage. They got the immigration boss for second.
One thing where we need for know, me brother. This passport contract, many companies them we don't come up for let them award them the contract. Okay. I think there was a time when a Swiss company came up where themselves we don't express interest for this passport contract, and at that time this NetPage government we don't contract them with the contract. So and based on the agreement where NetPage and government go on, I believe say then government decide for renew the agreement again and NetPage continue with the contract. So I don't know the angle where the journalists they come out, whether they yes maybe the lawyer gets some legal aspect where you don't look at where make he say then will take NetPage to court. But the government own side, I don't get any statement from government where government they say the passport is fake. Now that's how they say. If government officials from don't come out with statements and say this passport is substandard and not meet international standard, then I go make my opinion out of it.
But most times, David, government not can come out with some reality, except if people and pick them up now the tenant can carry a response. Say, yeah.
But now then award the contract. Now then award the contract to the contractor.
Yeah, that was then. That was then. But now then they talk about the printing. Maybe this person don't notice. Maybe this person don't notice differences. We make it all study and proper one, and they say something not wrong with the passport.
Well, then different thing than the way you say that has not been brought to the fore. We don't know about anything in there. So except now where we they see on a newspaper, or they see on some newspapers the way they bring them up. So now I make us say I not get a clue which angle why the paper describe the passport as fake. I not get a clue over that. If I don't get a clue over that, then I don't make an opinion over that day. But I not get a clue. But as things stands, the government starts satisfied with the contract and then satisfied for continuing for move ahead with next page.
All right.
Yeah, I think Sengbia, I told the line of David, if you give me contract for print passport, I give you the sample, you agree with them. You know, I know you can make fake passports again for wanting to sell it to other people. I would rather make the same quality and sell them to other people. If we forget an issue of fake passport, it's not coming from NetPage. However, I was not comfortable with NetPage then deal, you know, and I was in Parliament when it came for renewal. It was a tussle at first. We've been privy. There were, as David said, there were other options, you know. But again, let us not forget, say, this aspect of kickbacks, you know, people and the things and they give them package beforehand at the expense of good for country, you know, not in the poor way. So me, unless they get say, maybe if you go to immigration some time ago, you go tell say, hey, they say passport and all that. And maybe because of the rush of print, but again, you don't get the template. And if you say anything they will get for print outside which you not get the domain or whatever for just continue. So this thing I still get problem for understand why it is fake. We also think say kind of like we get
All right, the program we watch right now, Korea site
sell those passports to people, and because there was a time when we say people who are non-Sierra Leoneans, then they own diplomatic passports and they sell them $25,000 to them. I was in an international passport airport, I know good name. I saw somebody ahead of me, not Chinese. He gets a diplomatic passport and an ordinary person, not a diplomat, you know, and we don't think. So moving forward on this matter, one, in fact, when you look at your passport, you compare to Gambia, even Liberia, Ubaya, I know don't touch Guinea passport of late, but these two passports I'll tell you, I know talk about Ghana. It's very, very poor. And also, we don't see some country there, then tenor. Yeah, they can't talk to them, peg the dollar, the passport to $100, you know, at any given time. So now the passport is 2.5 million, you know, that done this not just the basic. We know so you cannot go to immigration and have your passport at the required time, you know. But I would also think, say, that 5 year, maybe they're too short. If they increase the amount time and again, let's have a 10-year period.
10 years, exactly.
I don't forget to that case of fake, no fake, because in next page, I then get the contract for print. I go print fake and sell to them. If they find out say they're substandard in recent time, we are not see any feature where they will go reduce in terms of production. It don't make sense. As David said, maybe me said before, we need for read the story and know the spirit behind who said the editor or the journalist to come up from and get it better. But from what you read, it not to make sense to me, but to go look at the waiting them go file, you know, as prayer and a court, and we see waiting will come on. But in conclusion, this matter, we have to revisit next page Next page has been a headache in terms of passport business in the country. They shouldn't have monopoly. I think say where they say me then go to Thomas de la Rue or where they print to money. I think they print or something, I don't know. But definitely passport no good for bluff it in the first place. And so anybody who can get similar printing, it can do an yourself and multiply, you know. So let's think seriously. This is a national document. And if we talk about nationalism, the passport should be we heartbeat. They go to talk about the flag. We go to the anthem, you know, the pledge. You know, if we don't have this document to be as they are, I think it's gonna be unfortunate. So I would rather advise next page and contract be reviewed, and so that we think of better things in the next dispensation.
All right, the last issue we'll look at this morning come up from the AZ newspaper again. Basically, they talk about, you know, embassy where the Salon government, you know, want to open now Israel, you know. So what do you make up of this? Sirajin, I go ask you first. You know why I ask you first? Because I remember this now the side where begins to be first. You know, with regards to this Sierra Leone Israel friendship something. I not quite remember. I hope I get it right.
Yes, you get them. I will tell you.
Yes, so you get wealth of experience in terms of the relationship between Israel and Sierra Leone. So what do you make up of this for let Salon get, you know, embassy now Israel?
Thank you very much. David, I get for beg you I take the time and this because I'm your own area.
This is close to your heart.
I get for keep time. And I returned from the States in 2005, as you say, after I studied for 2 years. I came back after the 2002 election. And I can set up the Sierra Leone Israel Friendship Society, as you say. And because when I began at State, I did wrap up my studies, I knew what Israel did to several countries. I don't even know, but we own Naya. But when I come, somebody said, yes, there was a Sierra Leone Israel Graduate Friendship Society, you know, where people go study in Israel. And one of them, Gabidon, lawyer Gabidon. You know, I met him, he walked me through. I also met Ambassador Bonuri, then tell me, say, when the NPRC took over, now then go, then begin a Nigeria mission, now then go to Israel for go renew ties. Ahmed Ramadan Doumbia was the foreign secretary. Now they all go and then renew ties. But I go back to where we started. When Sierra Leone was to gain independence, the British people and say, they're not going to build parliament for we, now we use the treasury building. Sierra Leone people and say, why would they carry treasury building? We need a parliament for we say. Now they Israel coming. The parliament was to cost £400,000. Israel for pay half of the amount, Sierra Leone government pay half of the amount. But by the time of the structure they done, before independence 61, the project cost over £750,000. So Israel pay minus £200,000 for Sierra Leone government, the Israel pay over the £500,000 They are not to that amount. The road from Cotton Tree to Parliament, now Israel construct them. We look at the Bank of Sierra Leone, that central big bank building with the opposite post office, not to Sambangura building. Now Israel build. The post office, now Israel build. The ministerial building back of Treasury and now Israel build. Part of Benguma training side, now Israel build. We look at them and say, if we are in there for a brief stint, they do so much. I would bet anybody, even America, Britain, any other mission, any Eritrean country, not ever do so much for Sierra Leone than Israel. Also, this problem come up with all them party business in Israel they developed with Sierra Leone in 1973. Now they Egypt grab with other Arab nations, Syria, Jordan, and even the African Arab nation like Libya, they bankroll over $1 million in terms of weapon or ammunition and for me then go fight Israel. And then get Israel and get a day we then call Yom Kippur, where now Day of Atonement. Now the holiest day. And they begin fast like 5 p.m. today, then break fast tomorrow at 6 p.m. So like they may not fast yesterday 5 p.m. Today, around then 10 imagine, don't fast all day, 5 p.m. all night, then this morning, 4 p.m. four giant people and car attack you. You're as good as dead, you know. But now they Israel manipulate, you know, and they may get an Israeli who been the served as foreign secretary in America, Henry Kissinger. And so he just send plane and come snap beside and say, beside the army, the invaders they did. So cut long story short, Israel won the battle, then repelled Egypt, then can't take part of the Sinai they occupy for stop Egypt from make them not make any invasion. Now that's when the Egypt can put to OAU say, and Israel can attack an African country. But when Egypt will go fight Israel, they not consult the OAU. So imagine, as they talk so more foolish as we are, then pass resolution say, make African country not get any dealing for do with Israel. Sad to say, Sierra Leone was the third country for ratify that resolution. Sad, you know. But this was 1973. September 17, 1978, Egypt will do this here, so then go na Camp David, then go settle the accord, then get full diplomatic ties. As I speak to you, there is an Israeli ambassador in Cairo, there is an Egyptian ambassador in Tel Aviv, because they don't want to go to Jerusalem yet. You know, this is what's obtained. We all go Congo, sir. Salo go Congo, sir. We still make hypocrisy. We don't have to do with Israel. Waiting at the cause. We still know we get. And I just tell you some of this, you know, even the refinery, other area, then Boku, something livestock, upline, Musaya, livestock. These are all Israel they're waiting on God. They have a history. You know why Israel go through exile period for years, and Usep would they link them to the slave trade. Waited till the reparation even come for we, you know, for let pay we for waiting God. But when Israel became a nation, they started before that time. Then begin old Germany and then would say, "We na kill 6 million Jews," you know, for make reparation. Even taking they give half money, but upfront they gave Israel $800 million that ending, you know, for as a sign of reparation, you know. And imagine we today slave trade. So Israel said, because you have this experience, let's cascade it to the African nations. Ivory Coast, 80% of their development now Israel. When the Fed happen, say you see rate Israeli flag, they expect only do nothing. 3 years ago, Israel gave $260 million grant to Ghana for Bill Hospital. Is the state of the art, it beats Kolobu Hospital self, you know. What we are saying, I'm just giving this background, say, why are we so foolish or can't take a position on the benefits we? Why other people? The reason why people don't want let Israel work with countries like us, because we have the natural resources, we will not get the right human resource for translate them for better for Salon. Now I mean they begin to say this and that. We got me at the thank President Bio for take this stand, and the church is standing behind him, and they're standing with him for say it's like King Cyrus. We've been let go, been free the Israelites in where they in Babylon in exile, and say when I go back to our homeland. President Bio is becoming that person. And I'll tell you now the benefits. You know, Israel is always looking for partners. They want to work. You know, if you go to Tel Aviv, they have a building, you know, they call the Buza. You know, now over 3,000 offices when they deal with diamond, but there's no diamond in Israel. But why all the diamond are the one like Israel today? So we think say if Israel where they deal with diamond, we get one diamond, we know the benefits we they come there. Just remember, waiting skipper, the short term skipper can our people didn't get value for them diamond. Even though they go begin the set waiting and call for them, say demand this country. I want to say this abundantly clear. You know, we have so much. Now she say the ambassador don't come, you don't tell Kanja, she say Minister of Energy that then they help Salon with energy. I will tell you, once that kick off, Salon will get energy problem. 57% of Israel land na Negev, na desert and color. Negev na Syria government desert. Here themself, I tell you, plant carrots, na the sansan, it grow, it harvest them. So, but looking at real land, how we get you eat mango seeds, they just drop any side, you know, they grow. Then I get somebody put your basket.
So let me ask you this question. Taking into consideration the relationship, the way how you know about the paddy business between Israel and that of Sierra Leone, and you've been done the work with them two countries there, so for make sure say the ties become very stronger. This is a new office. You will get any interest like for move again at the side and they for work in terms of tightening the diplomatic ties between the two countries?
Now, if I tell you say, what bring me kind of politics now about this Israel business, I will tell you, Let me start from Tijan Kaba. Daniel Pinhasi was the ambassador of Israel to Senegal, the overseas salon. He came and continued 2 attempts of Tijan Kaba, he not able. I continued the new ambassador Gideon Bihari of Sudan under President Nkrumah. He came. President Nkrumah invites him for the first time in 34 years. He came presenting credentials. Then they invite him in Israel. He sent the Vice President Samsona, me and other people, agriculture minister Sam say we all go, Then subsequent to other thing them. Then I still keep on doing that. Then under President Bio, himself come now. It's like say President Kaba na 0, President Nkrumah na 50%, and President Bio na 100%. If you ask me, say what do I want, my brother? I want to be the ambassador for Salon to Israel. When I went to the APC interview for Symbol in 2018, you go ask JFK, Esquire. He was the head of the interview committee. We don't see me CV, this and that. I said, man, why you not think? I said, why if you say all this time under APC government 11 years, they don't give me anything, but they survive. I said, but me no can hire for can go na parliament too. I said, because the incumbent, Fofi, the MPO been there. I said, the man he minus anything of himself, but he's highly connected to Cherry Coco, to Patso, and Mikhail Lumasari. I said, they cannot leave him and can't give me Symbol, even though the two sing Keshan later on. I said, well, can I for long and no say, all this time when peace being in power, I was neglected. I just want to tell them and say, a day, and my interest, now for that be ambassador to Israel. Anybody in an APC will tell you, say, that's the only. I don't want just to be an ambassador. I just want to be ambassador to Israel. And if you ask me if I get way for which, I wish for let President make me ambassador to Israel, but I know the wish. So I'm praying. I've asked people to pray. I'm mobilizing that. I'm interested. I'm presenting myself, and I will tell President Biose, if you give me the appointment 1 year, he knows he deserves it. Let's happen.
All right, so if we reach to that point, I think the thing don't be very clear. David, let's be inside on this issue of the Israel and Salon thing. Sirajin don't explain all of him things then, and at the end of the day, he's very much honest in this case. And I see some other people and they use newspaper, other one, and they write, this man is the fittest, but they know they come out to. But Sirajin in this case don't come out plain and don't tell me say he gets interest, and he always gets interest in this position. What do you make up of this? I respect this view. You're not Ben at all. You're just too straight. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. But because one thing, I didn't feel it. So you get I don't come out openly and say out the feeling. And that's a commendable for that. Mm-hmm. And the issue of Sierra Leone getting an embassy in Israel is a welcome news. But recent, after that news done, come out, I see another news where are not verified from social media where they say Hamas, they say they no want for less alone bill. I don't know details of that. Yes. But then that's medicine. So the thing is conflicting because Salon now don't express interest now for establish an embassy in Israel. Then they see another news where they counter say that particular side, that Jerusalem be na so people in place, na Palestine in place, na this in place. So they don't want Salon. For them not make that attempt there for establish an embassy in that particular side. So I don't know whether if that is true or not. So, but we wait and see. But as for me, that is a welcome news. And myself, I look forward for see if Salon get for establish an embassy in that part of the world.
Okay, but let me chip in on that. The Hamas, Hamas, this is the terrorist group of the Palestine. You get the Fatah, where they're like the liberals, they're moderate small. Hamas is always looking for problems and say, and this not for be, they're anti-Israel just like Iran. But I'll tell you, we ask yourself as a nation. Now, a person interested in the sick like Congo for Egypt or for sick we interested for develop. We struggle with water for drink. Israel, the rain where the can of Israel. Now that they say, well, if you go on that rain, the way people do so. Now then they harvest, but pump not the lock now Israel. They want to transfer that technology to us. We want for benefit from it. You know, all of this time we suffer with the import rice, they give almost $1 million for rice subsidy. Israel want to help us for now, stop that thing and grow our own food. You know, energy for now begin get them black out, say, hey, lights don't come, it has to be history. If we get all them problems that happen, where is Hamas all this while? Then who determines? Now, all the embassy them within a salon, none of them are Bo, none of them are McKinney, and then at the capital. Jerusalem is the capital of the state of Israel. Why for go open embassy at the commercial capital? If Israel say all the embassy for na Jerusalem, America don't comply, UAE don't comply, when Arab nation, other people don't, other countries don't comply, Hamas just want to put unnecessary threat. But I tell you, when it comes to security, they don't say they're not going to able Israel. On a daily basis, they send over 60 Qassam rockets na Beersheba, that's southern Israel. You know, but now then they repel them back and they go cause destruction to themselves, and then they send the Israel repel them back. You know, so they now can make up in corner to be for say then they can't tell you what have they contributed to this country. No, not talk no more. Most of the other embassy then now cultural center in the OP. Who's school they non construct? Who's billion non construct? You know, if you even send a gift scholarship, now for me them go study the ideology, you know. But Israel they tell people say if you not poultry business, then they go with them training of poultry, they equip you for camp. If anything way if any self, now then kind of equip you, you come back and develop a country. You know, let people not come begin to tell you all that thing for put you behind for political international politics, so they benefit with. As I say, we go Congo, sir, behind Egypt. Now Egypt self they benefit from Israel. You know, Gaddafi they make they say get 500 women security. Now Israel not training for her. You know, so why are we being so hypocrite? I tell anybody say me, they make me President Bio make me ambassador to Israel, which I'm praying for and they yearn for, and they lobby for her. You know, if that's happened, believe me, let President Bio give me 12 months. If I not succeed, let's sack me. All man goes to say, we have been sleeping and it's time to wake up. Hamas said that was all threats. We are moving ahead and we praise and thank President Bio for this gesture for the first time in 50 years. And don't forget, this is now 50 years from who broke off ties with Israel. And not say 50 na Jubilee year, na time for forgiveness and cancel debt. I'm sure God in His sovereignty, they forgive you for will be ungrateful to him to Upadi and restore with dignity.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, thank you. I think then that's all they left the program today. I appreciate that time. And this ambassador your position because I see her coming, I see her they come. The way you want no more, the first 2 months salary now want.
Udana.
We had the first 2 months salary now.
What you say?
No, like no more when my brother say no more. I told the same line with my brother.
Fine, don't.
The 2 months salary, you know what?
You don't know. I don't know want to. All right. Thank you very much.
Right. So go make a 1 month. Let not be 2 months.
Okay, no problem. We can take and steal because not to work. All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Siaji on this camera.
Okay.
And thank you very much to you, David Johnson, for joining us at the program today. The producer for this program is Elias Abba. Thanks to all we watch the program, we like, we follow the program, and you know we don't subscribe. We appreciate you all. My name is Nasembe Pere. If you don't invite us to meet again on net, God bless. We country Sierra where we call we are. God bless you all and get to yourself a wonderful day.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how sneeze again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass up.